So we're back with season 2 of the All Things ABC podcast. I am joined by Noel and Niamh and myself, Seán. Noel, we had a big staff meeting over the holidays and stuff. It was one of those things where like, Seán, you need to start bringing the podcast back. So here we are, and you've thrown not only the podcast challenge, you've thrown a challenge to all the coaches as well.
Yeah, we've a few big things coming in 2025, especially early in 2025. Feel free to jump in at any point, either of you. The main thing I suppose we're using this first episode of the podcast to announce is our big 50k or €50,000 in 50-day challenge that we've set ABC, but not only set the members, the coaches, the whole ABC community. We're trying to raise 50 grand in 50 days, with the first day kicking off this Saturday, February 1st, and finishing day 50, March 22nd, the day that we have in the RDS with Battle Cancer. We've set ourselves a challenge. Our members did an unbelievable job last year. Last year we had 108 people do Battle Cancer. They raised 36 grand for various charities. So we've set ourselves a bit of a bolder goal this time, and we're going for 50 grand.
It's class that we got so many members last year. We're like, oh my god, this is cool. We've got 100 members, and the biggest thing we've done. And then as soon as we talked about this back in, was it November, December, like a lot more jumped on board, and we're near like 180 members. So like we've talked about our own personal experience and why cancer now means a lot to us, but it clearly does to the members as well when we've so many more doing it this year compared to last year.
Yeah, even last year, the fact that we had our ABC t-shirts and having all the pictures, and I think even the MC gave us a big shout out. All the ABC members were more or less chanting ABC, and you could hear it across the entire RDS, so that was pretty cool. So I'm excited to see how this year goes.
Yeah, look, it's something that I suppose we have to be really proud of. We've actually 184 people signed up at the moment. It could be more by the time we do it, but we've 184 people doing Battle Cancer from across the locations, and it's great that we've kind of set this kind of bold goal to achieve. With that, Seán came up with the 50k in 50 days, which was quite snappy, and I think it's class, Seán. I think it's such a great idea. It's something I think it's so cool that we're getting behind, and I think the members are going to get behind it. I think we're going to achieve the 50k. I'm putting it out there on record now. So if we only get 30, it's still dead. Nice, yeah. You know, like I'm not going to feel bad if we don't hit it, but I think like either way we're going to make an impact.
Absolutely, and it's cool to aim for, it's cool to aim high. And the one thing about last year when we were doing it was all in the members, and members had their individual teams and they raised a lot of money last year. Now we're coming together, and you talked about it's great the members are doing it, but the coaches can't just sit back either and just watch the members trying to raise all the money.
This is on Niamh.
This was on Niamh. So
I don't know if I just had a big guilty head on me when we were talking about this. Like, this seems like a lot, but yeah, I suppose we kind of wanted to put a little bit of skin in the game ourselves, and the coaches like had all their hands up to participate, which is great, and I think it'd be great team bonding for us. So yeah, I'm excited for it to start on Saturday.
So just to be clear on that, one or two of us are actually taking part in Battle Cancer, but because like the gyms will be open, not everyone will get to go. There was a kind of a FOMO or a fear of missing out among some of the coaches, because like they're the ones that are be at home keeping the ship going, with the 4 gyms staying open while there's 184 plus coaches in the RDS. So those not getting to the RDS also wanted to be involved in some way and contributing in some way. So we've got our own team challenge. ABC is a staff challenge where we're going for 50,000 MEPs in the 50 days among, about 10 of us or so do the challenge. It's approximately 100 MEPs a day for 50 days per person on average. Seán is going to get about 40,000 and then 10 easily spread among the rest of us. So look, that's what we're doing from a team point of view. Again, great idea by Niamh to have the team put some skin in the game, as you put it, and and there was a real sense of the team wanting to do something, especially those that were maybe staying behind or not part of a team on the day. Everyone wanted to feel part of it, and we certainly didn't want it just to be, members go ahead and raise 50 grand there. We wanted to be like, no, we want to be fundraising, we want to be making the effort. And there's more to this as well, but that's part of it.
Yeah, I can just see it now, jump into a couple of the new classes we got coming up, and be on the bike or something, the members be like, here Seán, you're not in the red yet, 4 meps per minute, you guys need to get 50,000 meps, because I was looking at the reports, it's not going to be easy. Like if you look at what pretty much the average coach has done on my zone over their last 50 days, because you can do that very easy in reports, we're well off target. We got a lot of work to do between now and March 22nd, but that's a challenge, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm just hoping the legs hold up for all the running I need to do to get up there.
Yeah, like it's an interesting one, the MEPS thing, because like me, for example, I've a very low resting heart rate. I've quite a high max heart rate. So for a really tough gym session gets me maybe 100 MEPS. Like I probably average about 80, 90 MEPS when I go and do a gym session, like one of our classes, one of our kind of strength sessions, and it takes me doing other stuff like football or running or whatever to kind of to top that up, to get up to a more prolonged heart rate. So you're right, it's not the easiest challenge in the world.
I'm afraid we keep talking about, we're talking ourselves out of this. 30k sounds good in 50 days, I don't know. We're in.
we had to match Seán's slogan of 50k in 50 days, 50,000 MEPS in 50 days as well.
The other coaches listening, that's where we got it from, that's what we're doing.
We are probably doing a 50k ultra in the next couple of weeks as well, Seán.
Yeah, we're the belt to be definitely up and charged. It's charging at home now if we're getting ready for that. Absolutely it will, yeah. The bowel cancer thing, for personally, it's when we're talking about, sometimes you can see a lot of stuff for charities and Irish Cancer, and it's mentioned, you know, back in October is usually awareness for breast cancer. My mum went through it twice. So she went through breast cancer in 2007 and then again in 2021. And the mad thing about it is, when she went through it in 2007, she had to go through chemo as well as radiotherapy. She lost her hair and the wig, and very weak, and having to go in every day for so many days and months and throughout Christmas and all the rest. And when she got again in 2021, obviously it wasn't a walk in the park, but it was similar time frame they caught it, but didn't have to lose her hair, you know, didn't have to go through chemo, a lot of stuff she didn't have to go through, different types of surgery. It was less invasive on her, and it was only then that I realised that, like, when you are, you know, you're giving your money for charity and everything else, the advancements that has been made in cancer over the last 10, 15 years, and it's obviously true stuff the Irish Cancer Society and everyone else is doing to raise that money, you really do see a difference, because sometimes it can be like, you know, cancer is cancer no matter what, and hopefully they catch before the later stages and stuff, but even at those early stages, it just makes a huge difference now than what it would have meant 10 years ago. And that's why stuff like this and what battle cancer is doing is so important, and everyone, like we've talked to members and stuff that have their stories as well about, like, everyone's been touched with this some way or another.
Yes, it's a total coincidence, I suppose, that there's 3 of us here and we've all been affected by it in some way. I don't know, like Seán, you've been quite open there and very honest about your own, man. No pressure on you now if you want to say that. Like I'm happy to bring up mine. But you've been affected as well, Niamh.
Yeah, so I unfortunately lost my mum to cancer 10 years ago, but like Seán's mum, she did go through breast cancer at an early age as well, and I did remember seeing her losing her hair. I think I was only 6 at the time, so it was quite just a surreal time where you're like, it nearly becomes like a normal thing, like cancer is actually a part of people's daily lives, that you don't, like, having that, my mum having a double mastectomy and hysterectomy and everything. I grew up with all the ins and outs of that, and alongside that with my aunties as well, went through the same thing, so it was like you're immersed in that environment, so like it's nearly like a second nature that, like, it's just so a part of everyone's life and it affects everyone day to day. But outside of that, with my own mum, the second time it was a different form of cancer, and it was caught at a later stage. And I suppose the message that I wanted to get across was, outside of the point that you made on the research and the fundraising and stuff like that, we actually had a chance after we found out that my mum wasn't going to make it and that she wouldn't be going into hospice care. It was Christmas 2014, and we decided that rather than having my mum in hospital hooked up to all these machines and just seeing her waste away in an environment that she wasn't used to in the hospital, we decided to actually do our own fundraiser to bring her home for the last couple of weeks of her life. And my auntie Jackie played a heavy role in that, and the two of them are thick as thieves. She actually passed away a year and a half after my mum from cancer as well. But I suppose she was the head chief of that particular fundraiser, and many communities came together. So like Clontarf, Rathmine, Enfield, Newtown, where I'm from, all came together, and we raised I think over 20,000.
Oh wow! Jeez.
Within 2 weeks, and we were able to bring my mum home and spend that last couple of weeks with her, and it was very, very special. And I'm so thankful and grateful for the opportunity that like people that I might never see again gave to me, because those 6 weeks that I had with her and the rest of my family was something that will live with me forever. So this is why I'm making the point about the fundraiser and how much of an impact we can make as a community and as an organisation. It makes a difference.
This is mad. Like I was aware of both your mothers, but I didn't know the details with either of them. I've never heard you say any of that stuff, either of you, but I didn't know about any of that, Niamh, and we certainly hadn't, pre-talked before recording this about any of this stuff. So it's fair play to you for communicating that such raw stuff, so calmly. Oh Jesus, that's amazing, Niamh. I've spoken about my own dad several times, because I suppose for the main thing for me, my dad died of lung cancer, having never taken a drag of a cigarette in his life. It was pretty much passive smoke, dealing with his whole life. Between he's from Roscommon, he would have worked in the Rigna mines. As a kid, he would have had his own dad had died quite young, so he dropped out of school quite young to kind of be the head of the family, and he worked in the mines. He then came to Dublin, worked on the buses and in the Dublin bus garages and all that then for the rest of his life. So he was constantly exposed to fumes and smoke of different kinds, and he got a clot in his lung and eventually led to him dying. But that had such an impact on me actually creating ABC, because I used to be doing all these S&C courses and studying and doing Satanta College and all those things, and he used to be always trying to get me to use my knowledge. I've said this stuff before, and I kind of wasn't putting myself out there and I wasn't doing anything with it. But then after he died, it was kind of like, life's too short, I'm gonna start using the stuff that I've been studying, and fear had been holding me back up until now. But when you see how brave both of your mothers, and then seeing my own father, when you see how brave cancer sufferers are, you're kind of like, I can be brave and do this. If a business fails, it fails, it's not life or death, like the way the cancer thing is. So I'm gonna, on top of that, move on to, geez, that was quite raw. What you've spoken about was kind of thrown me a little bit, to be honest. But I suppose the next thing we did say we would talk about is, at least I knew in my head that I would be able to talk about how my dad dying influenced ABC and its infancy and its conception, but it also became something that had him dying led to a lot of the principles around how we operate. So what I mean by that is, I really started analysing what caused someone who never smoked to die so young of lung cancer. And just for a bit of context, my dad would have played sports, especially Gaelic games, Gaelic football, right up until his early 40s, and yet he caught cancer, or at least was diagnosed with, say, in his early 50s, and then died shortly after his 56th birthday. I always analysed, could we have prevented this? And the thing that was very obvious to us at home was my dad's breathlessness. But he used to always put his breathlessness down to, since I've given up the football, I've put on weight, I'm not exercising, I'm not training, I just need to get fit. And I was like, why don't you get fit then? And it's like, it's so easy to say that now, that's the person saying, I need to get fit, just go do it, so what are the things that prevent them from just going doing it? So I was like, well, he's a busy parent, he works a busy job, that was a shift work job. He was involved in coaching both me and my sisters, my football and her camogie teams. He wasn't prioritising any exercise for himself. But from time to time, certainly as I got older, he'd ask me, will we do such and such together? And I remember the old Liffey Valley Fitness, I think just as soon as I turned 16, the two of us joined it together and we used to go and train together, and I used to be showing him how to work a rower and trying to get him to use the rower, and I show him how to do a few weights and these sort of things. But it didn't stick, he didn't commit to it. I'd say he went out on a bike the odd time here and there. I'd say he went out and ran the odd time here and there. He definitely went to classes in various gyms from time to time over the years, but he didn't stick to any of them. I was like, how do you go from playing football and be so committed your whole life to now not committing to any form of exercise? And so that's what led me to analyse, what makes a sports person or an athlete commit to that activity? Well, first of all, they've probably been raised doing something that they just genuinely love and they stick to it because they love it. Secondly, in terms of team sports, you have a coach, you have a manager that you're held accountable to go into training. Training is on your 2 or 3 nights a week in your match. You've got your teammates. There's accountability to showing up, or you don't get your place, or you don't make the panel, or you're got rid of off the panel, or you don't feel part of the group. But then I suppose a point comes where it's you start to feel, I'm getting a bit old for this, or now I have kids, or work is now a priority for me, I want to earn more money, or I need to work more to earn more, or I need to, I can't be missing work for a match now, I'm also not getting my game because I'm a bit older, and gradually there comes a point where, any sports person tends to go and retire. It's just then, what do you do? That has become very much part of your identity. Seán, I know you as a runner.
Yeah.
That's how I see you. So if you were to stop running, it's what does Seán do? I'm very conscious that I'm a Gaelic footballer. That's what I've been and who I am my whole life. I'm 41 and still clutching at straws, trying to play a bit because I can't face the day that comes that I have to stop it,
As someone listening is probably sure, just take up running afterwards, but yet let's say you're playing football and you're even training and you do something silly, you make a bad tackle or something, your manager goes to you, Noel Flynn, 6 laps of the pitch there, and your punishment is going for runs. So when you finish playing your sports and all the rest, it's just go running now. It's that's punishment. Why would I go running? Absolutely not. That mind shift's not there.
That's a really good point, actually. It's even when you be playing in-house training games, the forfeit for losing the training match might be a couple of laps of the pitch. Yeah.
For the bleed test in school.
It's pre-season training. You see this football, you're not seeing it again for another 6 weeks. Go do laps, go do bleed tests, go run, and then people are why aren't you running afterwards? Because people are growing up, are in their mind is to absolutely hate it. So that's what you can't do then.
Do that's insightful. Running is seen as a punishment. Yeah, I would have felt like that as a player for sure, definitely. I don't think of it like that now, but if I was thinking of that as a player, probably so many are as well.
Yeah, or even just they don't think about running, it's just the chase after the ball. It's like you said, they have something to train, that structure there. They don't see as they're you could do 6, 7, 8K in a training session or more, in matches they do more. But you don't see you did that because you're not thinking about running, you're thinking about something else. Yeah. It's so mental, but then you lose that as a going up in sports and all of a sudden that's gone. It's what do you do for, your dad probably wasn't doing that for fitness, he was doing it for so many other reasons, that commitment to the team and everything else then. It's so hard to put that back and just, I'm going to do this for me now, and then combine that with the running. It's such a hard mind shift to do. It's how I think about it.
Even that point, Seán, if you think about it, over the years we've had so many parents that they're hesitant about joining the gym because they feel guilty about missing bedtime for their kids or something, or they feel guilty for actually taking some of their own personal time for themselves because parents are so busy. And there can be real guilt associated with, not only am I taking out time for myself, I'm missing time with my kids, but I'm also going and spending money on something that maybe reduces the amount of resources I have towards my kids. What the big mindset shift for people is when they realise that the money they're spending is an investment in living longer, living with more energy, living with more function and ability to keep up with their kids, and they're a better parent and they're a better person for being healthier, for being in a better mood, for being more confident in themselves. So that's where there's a big, I suppose, transformation in mindset when people make that switch.
I just wanted, though, this is probably an idea, you can probably confirm this for me, Noel, in terms of like, how did you get into sport as a kid?
Forced into it. By my dad.
Exactly. So like, all of this investing in yourself to go to the gym, look who's looking at you, look what you've, like, because your dad got you into sport, look what has been created because of that. And that you're a role model for your kids.
We're completely on a different kind of train of thought here, but I was forced to play sport. Like, I didn't want to go. I was the one who kicked up about going every week. I remember being at Luke and Harriers, and when you'd be doing laps of the track, I would look to see her, like, you'd be running as a big group and I would jump out over the fence and hide behind the fence for a couple of laps, and then when I feel they're on their last lap or two, I would jump back into the group. So there's another one with the running shot. Then with Luke and Sarsfields, like, I hated it. Like, I absolutely hated it. I didn't want to go. I did like you start a lot later them times too. Like, we didn't get started being brought along to things till we were 8 years of age, whereas my little one Clara has already started like at 4. I was absolutely dragged along. So I did tell parents, like, there's this thing of, you need your kids to enjoy everything, and like, you can't force them to go along to things. You absolutely can't force them along. like Clara was the same last year, hated being, it's cold, it's wet, it's whatever. We brought her every single time, regardless of whether she wanted to go or not. And now this year I see a completely different child in terms of, she calls it football school. Like, it's the academy, it's football and hurling, but she calls it football school. And she goes along every week, and it's just part of it's what she does. She swims on Monday, she goes dancing on Tuesday, and she goes to football school on a Saturday. It does become part of who you are and what you do. And then it's therefore, when you have to stop, it's like, who am I now? No, it's something we're so conscious of then, the environment of how we create the gyms. We can get into some of that. I don't know whether you want to talk about that now, or do we want to move on topic, or again, we're quite casual with how we're doing this podcast.
You cut me off with that as well. No. I suppose to bring it back full circle for you then, because you talked about, a lot of people probably don't know your story then of, wait, hang on, he hated sports and stuff growing up, and then how did you go from that then into APC then? Like, did you with St. Anton and all the rest, was that after your father passed away, or did you said that earlier, you had that, and then it was like, I'm going to set up a gym now, and look into it. Like, how did that start working?
I suppose, like, something switched for me at maybe, like, I didn't like it, I'd say, for a couple of years, and I'd say something switched for me when I was 10, 11, 12, where I maybe had a bit of a growth spurt. And I remember, actually, now that you've asked the question, I remember in school realising in the yard that I was really fast. And I realised that when you were playing all the different chasing games, I don't think you can even do that in the yard now, but like, we'd be running around the Bulldogs Charge and all them different games and all the different tag games, and no one was able to ever catch me because I was really quick and I was quite agile as well. And again, I still remember the moment thinking, God, why don't I, like, if I can actually use this in sport as well. Speed and agility and stuff and fitness became my thing. So then I really started adding skill to it. I was quite a skillful footballer, and I ended up on Dublin teams. I was offered trials in England in soccer, and I turned down the trials to Charlton in England because I was on the Dublin under-16 team. And then I was just like, if I don't care about playing professional soccer because I want to play for Dublin, why am I even letting soccer get in the way of that? And I just, at 16 years of age, I just went and quit soccer, even though I was arguably better at it than Gaelic. So I quit that and went all in on the Gaelic, and was around Dublin development squads and that sort of stuff. I actually chose to be a teacher for the wrong reasons. Then I got a GA scholarship to Maynooth University. I became a teacher, but I was doing it because I wanted to have time in the evenings to play football, and I wanted to be like the cool GA teacher in school and all that sort of stuff. And I became a teacher, and I started doing all that stuff. I started being the GA teacher, and I didn't get enough points for PE. I had put down PE in Limerick, and I didn't get the points. Did my degree and my page dip, and as it was at the time, and all that in Maynooth. Became a teacher. Did all the GA courses, the foundation, the level 1, the level 2, started coaching the school teams, was coaching teams in the club from a right young age. But I was also now getting a lot of injuries myself because strength and conditioning had started to come in, lifting weights had started to come in. Anyone who follows the Gaelic, you're now talking 20 odd years ago, and it's the Armaghs and Tyrones winning the All-Ireland with being big and muscular, and every team then, club and county, had to copy that. And so, I was expected to be lifting weights and putting on muscle and all that, but I was doing it wrong. I was getting myself injured, I was constantly hurt, I was constantly in pain. But I started researching how to get out of the pain, how to avoid injuries, what does strength conditioning mean, and I discovered this course by Dr. Liam Hennessy, Setanta College. I was on the very first intake of that. Very luckily, took the bullet, signed up to it, did it part-time and long distance and all that sort of stuff for a few years, got a first in that, real interest in it, and did that on top of teaching. And then because I was a teacher and I got a first on their first intake, I was offered a job as a part-time lecturer with Setanta College. I did that for 10 years. During that 10 years was when my dad died. And it was a real, I realised I loved teaching strength and conditioning, but I was only doing it on this kind of part-time basis with Tanta College and with whatever I was doing with the likes of my sister's camogie team with the club. I was doing the odd bit of club stuff. I remember I used to work with Maynooth GA Club. I worked with Ballybowden footballers. I was doing the odd little side gig here and there from stuff I was getting from Setanta College. But I kind of felt, God, there's a real opening for somebody to set up a strength and conditioning gym where people are shown how to coach, how to lift weights correctly. Again, you're talking an era where Ben Dunn was our local gym and it was all machines and that sort of stuff. So most people just went in and got on treadmills or into a leg press or a shoulder press or whatever, and that's what people were doing. And most people were afraid to go down to the free weights area because they wouldn't have known what to do with a dumbbell. So I felt like if you could learn how to teach people how to use dumbbells and barbells and the bikes and all these different things that people are afraid of, there's a serious gap there. And therefore, over 10 years ago now, the idea of ABC was conceived, but it was then I started applying all the things that made my dad stop playing and get fit. And ultimately, I always felt if we had kept him fit and he had all this breathlessness, he wouldn't have had the I need to get fit excuse. Whereas if he was fit and had the breathlessness, everyone would have been like, there's clearly something wrong with you. Go and get checked out. And he might have caught the thing earlier and ultimately might have saved himself, God, I've spoken to him. Hardly took a breath. But it's something obviously I'm passionate about. It's something I know inside out and it just comes out of me when I start talking about it. But the battle cancer thing has really resonated with us because of my dad, because of your mum, and so many people in the gyms. That battle cancer has really resonated with us, and it fits with one of our principles. So the gym for us isn't just about coming to the gym and ticking off that you did some exercise each week. Ultimately, people come in and that's the goal as a beginner, especially if they haven't been exercising. They come in going, I'll go to the gym, I'll do it 2 or 3 or 4 days a week, I'll lose a bit of weight, I'll keep fit, I'll get myself healthy. But then they get competitive. And then they start seeing people around them doing things and they're out running, or they're, you know, playing 5-a-side again, or, you know, they're doing 5Ks now, that person there who never would have done something like that before in their lives. And that's where we started bringing in the ABC games to go, right, a couple of times a year, we're going to have this thing that we're going to compete in teams and we're going to compete against each other. And we give people this environment where they now have this goal going, oh, that's a bit scary, I need to train a bit harder, I need to push myself a little bit more, I don't want to show myself up or let my team down. And they start having a target to achieve. So we've always had that, we basically copied CrossFit, let's call it, like, it's one of the main things CrossFit did. I feel we were one of the first to bring that style of concept to a small group personal training gym. Now it's 10 a penny, everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
But we soon started to look at stuff outside of our own games, and the battle cancer thing really resonated with us. And so entering that last year and getting 108 people to do it from word go, it really fell in line with, I don't just go to the gym now, I train and I aspire to compete in events. And I'm not saying every person who comes to the gym has to do this. Between full members and trials, we've over 600 members. So what is it? Less than a third of them are taking part in battle cancer. So if 1 in 3 people or 1 in 4 people or whatever it might be, there's the other 2 or 3 people who aren't, and they're happy coming to the gym and they're happy staying fit, and that's all perfectly fine for us. But the person who has a little bit of I want more, I want a bit of competitiveness, I want to have a target to strive for, something that puts a bit of fear under them.
We're not too sure we are walking up that day oh, should I be doing this?
Yeah.
You're seeing it now, and no matter how many
Nerves.
times you tell someone you'll be
It's
grand,
exciting.
it is exciting. It's that nerves exciting, that butterflies feeling in the stomach, because the ABC games are great, but sometimes when you're a team of 6 and you kind of know your people you're against, and why you're so excited, why you want to beat them. That level of going to a new venue or something different, or heading down to the RDS, and you're just kind of what am I actually in for? I'm not too sure. And then when they get through it, the excitement and stuff, they're right, we're going out celebrating that and stuff, and that makes the night so much better. I always tell them a pint tastes so much nicer after doing an event like that.
Principle-wise, it really fit in that regard. Then the other side of it is that's linked to charity. And one of the things Seán mentioned, battle cancer, and mentioned the Irish Cancer Society and all that sort of stuff, and mentioned that we had a fairly sizable staff meeting. We basically had a staff day early January. We rented a room at the Glenroyal Hotel, we spent the day, we analysed everything in the business, and one of the things we looked at was refreshing our core values. And one of the words that came and that really resonated with us was the word impact. And we decided that day that if we were to have impact, it wasn't enough for us with our vision of what we could do and what we could achieve to just keep that impact to the gym floor. We wanted the impact we could have with ABC and with our community to have an impact not just on the gym floor, that community and that camaraderie and the amount of members we have and the locations we have, that it could be a vehicle or a mechanism for a greater good. And we kind of brainstormed, and the battle cancer thing, and then the 50k in 50 days, and fundraising and making an impact was one of the things that came up that day. And again, we leaned on the battle cancer thing again, but we've actually a member, Glenn, I hope Glenn doesn't mind us saying this now, but Glenn Hazel in the Lucan gym, the Cross Lucan and Adamstown gyms, he's a guard, he's a young man, he's a wife and young kids, and he has cancer, and he trains away, and nobody really realises that Glenn has ongoing cancer. So his little fella's in the same play school as my little one, and I remember just talking to him one day outside, and he was telling me how he has cancer and he has leukemia, and how I was like, are you old? And he's like, no, I live with it, like, and I was like, what? And basically he was wall falling, like he was out of work, he was only able to get up for a couple hours a day with exhaustion. He was basically bedridden with it, and his wife doing everything. I don't know how they did it, but he was getting help and advice from the Irish Cancer Society, and he said they were so helpful and they provided him so much guidance, and they really helped him and they helped his family. But one of the bits of advice he was given was to overcome your exhaustion, you're going to need to get really fit and you're going to have to start training. And he just thought this was like totally counterproductive, totally counterintuitive. Like, how does a guy who's struggling to get out of bed get himself fit? And they were just like, look, you're going to have to get someone to train you, or you're going to have to get someone who'll make you do it, or, you know, you're going to have to get something that you're going to have to just commit to. He felt ABC was the thing that would do that for him. And we never knew any of this when he joined us. Like, he never kind of told us any of that. And like, anyone who knows Glenn now will know that he's a great trainer, he's really fit. Like, you would never look at him and think he's sick or anything like that. And just training has completely changed his whole life and his ability to carry on with life. And like, in the moment, I just sort of said, look, we've this fundraiser with the battle cancer and all coming up. Like, are you doing it? He's like, yeah, I'm doing it. Like, and again, even doing that is mad to think that a guy with cancer is going doing battle cancer. But I said, look, I'm going to let you choose the charity because this story you're after telling me. And he's like, oh, the Irish Cancer Society, that's who I would want to raise for. And I was like, look, that was something we were quite happy to run with then. Like, and we felt like there's no one can dispute selecting the Irish Cancer Society now after that. So, Glenn, thanks for sharing your story with me. I just shared it with, I don't know how many, whether 10 people will listen to this or 100 people will listen to this. But I've just gone and shared your story with many more, and I think that, knowing Glenn, I think that'll be okay with him. So that's how we've come round to selecting the Irish Cancer Society, and that's who we're looking to raise the 50,000 for. And what we've decided is, you came up with the 50,000 in 50 days. I think it's so good to give ourselves this burst, this intensity to go after it, and we're finishing it. There's an end game and there's an end goal.
I want to think back to Glenn's story. I think that's going to have a massive impact on the ABC community overall, because it's the stories that actually reach out to people. If you ever watch like the TV shows that tell people's background stories, like, you're like, you just relate to them so much, and it's nearly like, oh my god, I can feel what they feel, and there's just so much more buy-in, and just will bring everyone together and make us even stronger together.
Do you remember last year we did, because we had so many members, Battlecast got on to us, that their media team was like, can you get a load of different videos of people saying, hey, this is this team, we're doing this. And like, even recording them, like, there's some of them didn't want to say it on the camera, but some were just telling their stories and stuff of going, like, how cancer's affected them, or families and loved ones and all the rest. And just, they had such a personal reason. And there's people listening that are like, I just want to go for a great event as well. It's great raising funds and everything else, but I just want to enjoy myself and challenge myself fitness that way. But there's so many that have been like, it means a lot more to them for something like this. Because we've tried stuff before for after the ABC Games, that extra stepping stone being these other fitness events that clicked with some people, but most didn't. But then when it came to the battle cancer, the numbers just such a huge difference across the gyms. There wasn't one gym like them more than another, like that. Everyone just started to get involved. I'm excited for 50 days. I'm nervous, but I'm excited at the same time that I'm going to jump these classes and see how it gets on. But as well as that, like, other people are doing it their own ways. We're taking part in the MEPS challenge. There's members doing battle cancer obviously as well. But no, you said other members are going to you as well for fundraising for that night, for raffles and stuff as well.
Oh yeah, so just even I suppose to give the details then, we're like, this just fell into place. Like, we decided to be bold, and we decided to be ambitious with our 50,000 in 50 days, but we also felt like in order to do that we need to show the members that we're being bold and we're being ambitious, and we needed to do some actions around that as well. So we booked the ballroom in the Glenroyal Hotel, we booked Smash Hits as the band, and we're giving a great celebration that night out. What I need to be very clear on, it's not just for the people doing the battle cancer. It's for all our social events are open to all our members and their loved ones or their colleagues or their friends or their housemates or whatever that they might want to bring as their +1 or +2 in some cases. But we want to have a really special night to acknowledge the work and the effort that everyone will have gone into on this sprint, on this 50k in 50 days, because it will be a sprint, it will be intensive, and as I said, I think we'll achieve it. But on the night we're also going to do a fundraising raffle. So again, we don't want to just put all the fundraising on the people doing the Battle Cancer and that they have to go and not only take part and chase people looking for money. Like, we're doing our thing with our team challenge, and we're hoping any other members who want to take part in the social event or the social night and come and have a drink and a dance and a chat and a mess with the rest of our members will do so by maybe buying tickets for the raffle that we're going to have that night that will go towards the charity as well. So far we've a couple of sponsors of that, but we're going to throw this out to anyone who's listening. So the Glenroyal are going to do something as a sponsorship within the raffle. Alan Dunning and Leopardstown Golf Course are going to do something for us. I don't know yet whether that's going to be golf in Leopardstown or whether it's going to be more a hamper with golf paraphernalia. But Leopardstown Golf Course are going sponsoring us. The Liberty Bell in Dublin, Orla Corcoran has reached out to say there'll be a hamper from the Liberty Bell. So, we've just given the first 3 names to come in with stuff. So if there's any business owners among the community, among the members, among your own family or friends or loved ones who any of this story so far has resonated with, and you want to, help contribute to the fundraising in some way, whether it's vouchers for the coffee shop, whether it's a hamper from the pharmacy, whether it's, God knows what the gesture might be, but anything that could go towards making that a really great raffle that would attract a lot of interest from maybe the members that aren't doing Battle Cancer, that might just fancy winning that really lovely prize that's now part of it, because somebody with a business in one of the gyms reached out and provided us with, as we said, we don't know what that might be yet, apart from the 3 that we've kind of got already. So business owners that are listening, if you want to contribute to the 50k in 50 days, please reach out to us. You'll get shout outs in the likes of we've just done now on our screens within the gyms, amongst our email list, among our WhatsApp groups for our Battle Cancer teams. You'll get it back in spades if you're able to provide us with some goodwill. We'd really appreciate it.
I can't promise Niamh will take it easy on sessions, but we'll look after you in other ways.
Speaking of that, how are we going to prepare for this? What do we have upcoming in the next week?